5 years have passed since Warcraft III Reforged released, and 5 months have passed since Grubby, in his 5th decade,
Hello, I'm Grubby, and I'm in my late 50s.
Made a video proposing 17 quality of life improvements to get players back into Warcraft 3. After making the Warcraft 3 Reforged 5 years later video, I had gathered a collection of ideas from the community as well as myself that could maybe increase the quality of life for players who still log in to play Warcraft 3 Reforged today. I'd like to preface this by saying I know that many of these quality of life suggestions are far-fetched pie-in-the-sky wonderment, but I can talk about them nonetheless, right? Here's a fun game. See if you can tell which ones definitely won't happen. Let's get started, shall we? Number 1. Reconnect Feature. A reconnect button to get players back into the game after being disconnected, be it a tense 1 versus 1 or a 2-hour RPG custom game, would prevent the frustration of losing valuable game time investment and ensure that players do not suffer unfair penalties or disadvantages due to technical glitches. Number 2. Collection Management. Players can switch between different skins for their favorite heroes, but what about units or even buildings? Expressing your style with more customization and managing those skin choices through different save profiles would let you change your in-game look to suit your mood. Save profiles would let you quickly change your skin portfolio without clunkily turning on or off each model option. Number 3. Community Protection. It's no surprise that Warcraft 3 has a problem with griefers in multiplayer. Like many other competitive games, there will be many people who realize they are a failure when it comes to proving they are a skilled ranked player, so resort to taking their frustrations at their own incompetency out on others to convince themselves that they are not a complete waste of space. However, unlike other competitive games, Warcraft 3 has no decent system for managing griefers. What we need is a robust reporting system that actually does something, allowing players to report misconduct that will result in a timeout, perhaps 24-hour minimum, for serial griefers such as AFK players, spammers, and team killers. A temporary suspension would help to deter negative behavior, and at the very least, reduce it to being a common blight for people who just want to enjoy the game. Grubby suggested implementing an AFK detection system that could kick a player after 30 to 60 seconds of inactivity, ensuring active participation in the game. Alas, Blizzard is a small indie developer, so I doubt their budget would cover maintaining the quality of the game unless the reporting system was automated, which has its own problems, of course. Number 4. Customizable Command Grid. A customizable command grid would let players personalize their controls, improving their efficiency and greatly enhancing their game experience. I made a video about this that you should definitely check out that explains how to approach doing this, praising the ease of use when changing hotkeys in World of Warcraft, and would love to see something similar in Warcraft 3. There is even a custom game called 8-Bit Raid that has a UI tab letting players change their in-game hotkeys on the fly. Number 5. Control more than 12 units. Have an option to let players control more than 12 units. If this proves an issue for the melee scene, then perhaps disable it. But it definitely would be massively welcome in many custom games where hundreds of units are in play. This change will make it more efficient to manage larger armies and execute commands without the need for needless constant reselection. Number 6. Hotkeys for unit group types. Give us hotkeys for unit groups. The option to assign hotkeys for controlling specific unit types such as heroes, units, and buildings works wonders in games like Age of Mythology or Age of Empires 3. Being able to target very specific units deliberately and quickly allows for more precise and enjoyable control during battles and overall gameplay quality of life. Number 7. Quick cast abilities. Professional players like League of Legends legend Tyler 1 can show off their skills in Warcraft 3 with more advanced enhanced precision in executing skills with a quick cast feature to cast abilities instantly by pressing a single key.
Yes! Absolutely.
Number 8.
Control Group Display UI. Patch 2.0 introduced many War3 champion features that improved quality of life to player gameplay, but the display of control groups is yet to be added and would make a welcome addition. Number 9. Game HUD UI Flexibility. Turning off the side panels is nice, but having control to turn on and off or even move around sections of the game HUD UI would enhance immersion and provide a cleaner, more visually appealing experience for the player either in-game or when observing or watching replays. Number 10. Change color. Let players change their color, making it easier to distinguish units and structures, be they allied or hostile. Grubby mentioned this in his video, and I can't help but keep noticing how great StarCraft 2's system options are. In StarCraft 2, you have the option to adjust what color your units and structures are, as well as what color they show up as on the minimap. You can also change ally or hostile player colors, and even neutral creeps. Number 11. Background models. StarCraft 2 gave players a way to personalize their background with atmospheric wallpapers themed within the StarCraft universe in and outside of the game. These visually appealing backdrops are a nice, simple way to let players feel welcome, and Warcraft 3 players would love to have these too. Perhaps they could be earnable through achievements. Number 12. Voice localizations. Voice localizations were redone and not for the better in many cases, and some voice lines in the original game are now missing in Reforged. Returning both of these would regain favor among the fans. You can always put the dubbing on a toggle for on and off for each of those languages that it had changed beforehand, giving players the option to experience Warcraft 3 listening to the language that they enjoyed once before in the original game before the Reforged changes. Number 13. Remade campaign, cutscenes and cinematics. Some players want Blizzard to honor their original promise of improved cutscenes and bring the other cinematics to the same level as the remade Reign of Chaos Footman vs. Grunt meets Big Ol' Inferno cinematic. Fans wanted cinematics that matched the expectation that Blizzard players have enjoyed from Blizzard cinematics for decades. One that doesn't make Arthas look like an old stiff drunkard stuck in an awkward clunky dance with Illidan. A campaign fully readapted was considered once before, but Blizzard scrapped their plans to adapt the original Warcraft 3 campaign to suit the World of Warcraft narrative with Jaina and Sylvanas. Would it be revisited if they adapted the campaign again? Personally, I'd rather they don't change the way the campaign plays out unless it honors the original with nuanced differences in the levels that add extra flair and discoverability, like Cam's Stratham, Dalaran, and the bonus tower defense level. The 5 remade levels were Cullen of Stratham, Siege of Dalaran, Dungeons of Dalaran, The Crossing, and The Fall of Silvermoon. Fortunately, you can get access back to this fine-tuned official campaign experience by downloading the campaign files into your campaigns folder. I'll link it in the video description below if you're interested. Number 14. New campaigns. Players will always have a reason to come back if Blizzard added fresh new content in the form of campaigns, be they official expansions or downloadable content, further enriching the game world lore by offering additional storylines, missions, and challenging content for players to explore. Number 15. Cooperative Campaign. A cooperative campaign would be a great way for players to bring their friends back to tackle challenges together in a Warcraft 3 campaign. There are custom-made co-op levels for Warcraft 3, so this already exists, but a new official one would be pretty cool.
That's really cool.
Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This is the one, the only, the Azathan here, and I'm doing the co-op campaign brought to you by The Spoon from thehiveworkshop.com. I'm playing with WTiiWarcraft Warcraft.
Hello. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Hello. Stay a while and listen.
Oh no, no, Deckard, no.
Stay out of this. This is Warcraft 3, Deckard. Get out.
Oh, Uncle Deckard. You're so silly.
Number 16. Promoted content. If Blizzard didn't want to create the new content for Warcraft 3, then they could platform creators who do. Having a StarCraft-style arcade to allow players to download content such as custom campaigns, customs, or even skins for unit models would help keep the community thriving and let normie players, who would never have discovered the rich amount of user-generated content, get easier access to the wealth of free content that there is. Number 17. Item Bearing Creeps Rehaul. That's a mouthful. Inspired by Grubby's idea for an item indicator on creeps to show what items they drop. I thought giving the creeps a colored aura would be the least obnoxious way to indicate that the creep will drop a specific item. For example, the aura could be colored red for permanent items, blue for charged items, and green for tomes. Now you might argue, what if a creep drops both or all of these item types? My response would be,
how dare you!
But I do have a brain, despite what you may think, and I have thought of a way to deal with that problem. You could give the aura a specific size. First of all, tomes, green, being the smallest but always overlaid on top of the other colors. Then charged items, blue, being the medium but always overlaid on top of the red. Permanent items, being larger and at the bottom. Having creeps display a colored aura to represent items makes it easier for players to quickly identify and distinguish between different types of items. Number 18. New races. Introduce races like Naga, Demon, and Draenei, among many more. What's the harm in that? It's not like Warcraft 3 has undergone decades of balancing to get the current 4 races in a good place. Oh right, yeah, well, they could be included in an alternative game mode for PvP that players could sign up for. Most of those races are pretty fleshed out with unique units and abilities, so it wouldn't be completely out of the question to polish them up, though I doubt Blizzard would want any more work to do. But who doesn't love more diversity?
The diversity.
Such diversity.
The diversity.
Number 19. New game modes. I'm adding this as a bonus due to the previous point raised. Do you remember Nick, the guy who made Tower Survivors? A while back, he got my YouTube channel suspended when I played one of his many alternative melee maps that would be like a normal 1 versus 1 or 2 versus 2 game, etc. But there were several modifiers that spiced up the gameplay, such as creeps and units always dropping tomes upon death so you could power up your heroes like crazy. One game mode I think that could be appreciated would be a random hero mode and even random units, so when you train the hero from your altar or tavern, it gives you any hero from any race in the normal melee scene. As for random units, let's use the human barracks for example. The footman is level 2, the rifleman is level 3, the knight is level 4. So instead of getting these units when you train them, you would receive a random creep of that level instead. This would be like the item drop loot table where a creep would drop any one of the level 1 permanent items such as Slippers of Agility, Gauntlets of Strength or Mantle of Intelligence. In this case, whenever you trained a footman for example, you could get a Murloc Huntsman or a Centaur Drudge or even a Felguard amongst many others. Of course this could be balanced so the creep is of a similar power type to the unit that you're training, such as the footman in our example. This would be clearly very RNG but could make for a very fun PvP game mode for players to ladder on separately from the more standard traditional affair. Number 20. New heroes. More heroes means more strategies and counterplays for each of the races, increasing replayability and widening synergistic hero combinations. Hey! There's always room at the tavern. Number 21. Legacy Art Update. An actual Classic Plus with enhanced textures, revamped aura effects, and refined player colors, providing a more visually appealing and modernized experience while staying true to the original game's aesthetic is desirable for many Warcraft 3 fans. But who's to say which graphical changes are right for Classic Plus? That's a tough one. I've always thought it could just be classic models with higher resolution, but there could be 2 playable versions, the other being models that are similar but honor the original. Similar to what's been done recently in the Classic Plus mod. This looks neat and I look forward to trying it out in the future. Number 22. Optional download for Reforged. An optional download for Reforged assets, keeping the base game separate and letting players choose which assets to install would reduce bloat and unwanted content. Does anyone have the base game anymore? More like based game. Number 23. Fix orbs. Allow items and abilities with orb effects to stack with one another. It's so frustrating that you can't utilize your inventory to the max due to the clunky nature of orb effects having many restrictions and causing conflicts with other items. So if this could be fixed, ensuring orbs work without issues, it would be most welcome. Now before Neo disagrees with orbs stacking in melee, as this would make Orb of Venom really strong, my suggestion is that this is purely a change to the mechanical way orbs work. Melee should stay the same and the orbs should be rebalanced to be unique items and not stack in this regard. But for custom players like myself, having orbs stack would be a heck of a lot of fun. Number 24. Let players choose to have multiple autocast abilities on at the same time providing they don't conflict. Take Priest for example. You could have both Heal and Inner Fire on autocast and the Priest would cast Inner Fire when needed, otherwise it would prioritize healing. Another idea is to have a universal hotkey for turning autocast abilities on and off without clicking with the mouse. For example, to turn on or off Priest's Heal autocast, a player could type Alt+E. Number 25. Join typed custom game name button. If you type the exact typed game name and press join, it doesn't just join. You have to click on the game in the lobby, then click join. Being able to join a custom game, if typed exactly, would be great for friends who say join a game name Test 1, especially if the game is made privately and doesn't show in the lobby. That way, players can just get into the custom games with no resistance. Number 26. Animated profile portraits. Remember animated profile portraits in the original Warcraft 3. This is a very minor thing, but the classic models have so much personality in the way they move and look around. This would be a small but noticeable improvement. You could also let players leave a note in their profile for players to read like once before too whilst we're at it. Number 27. Leaderboard search filter. We got a search filter for custom games, which I am eternally grateful for, but I noticed the leaderboard still doesn't seem to have a way to search for ranked players. Number 28. Autosaves. Last but not least, introduce an autosave feature. Perhaps this should only work for single player, but ideally this could be set up to save at a specific timed interval assigned by the player, be it every 5 minutes or once an hour. If possible, make it so that the autosave files state timestamps to make it clear for the player to know which autosaves to return to. I've always been fond of Heroes of Might and Magic 5, the best Heroes of Might and Magic game, for its awesome autosave feature that saves the past 3 days played. So if you made a monumental mistake, you have a few saves over the last few days to find a way to solve it. So implementing autosaves reduces the risk of losing significant progress due to unexpected issues, and we all know Reforged has its issues. So this will provide a more worry-free gaming experience. I'm sure there are many other quality of life features that I didn't include here due to time or that I haven't discovered yet. But I'll leave that to Neo from Back to Warcraft to continue this series, and I'm sure he can discover over 30 more quality of life features. Hey there! If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and share. And maybe we at Microsoft Blizzard will look see to getting some of this stuff done. No promises though. We are but just a humble small business, as you know. Anyways, you take care now. Bye!
Luckiest player in the world. XD, 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 XD.